Local seniors closely watch the debate in Washington as AARP South Dakota works to protect the earned benefits Medicare and Social Security provide for your loved ones and neighbors all across the state. Is it costing you more to keep the lights on or to heat and cool your home? Find out how AARP is helping you keep more of your hard-earned money in your pocket. And doing good. AARP volunteers are making a difference all across South Dakota. Hello, I'm Kathy McClear, Communications Director for AARP South Dakota. Sure, AARP has insurance products and discounts, but we do much more. Today, we'll explore some of the many ways AARP South Dakota is serving people 50 and older right here in your state. AARP South Dakota is helping you age independently and with dignity in your own home and community. Through our advocacy work in Pierre and in Washington, we're working to ensure you have access to the programs and services you're counting on to meet your basic needs. And we're helping you keep more of your hard-earned money by working to improve consumer protections, address your challenges over utility rates and reliability, and fight healthcare and financial fraud. AARP South Dakota is ensuring you can have the retirement you want. AARP provides information and tools to help you plan for a secure financial future. We also provide educational opportunities and resources to help you save more, manage your assets, and protect your savings. And AARP South Dakota is a friendly and helpful neighbor. All across South Dakota, AARP volunteers are making life better where they live through community service and by giving back in meaningful ways each and every day. Let's start today with AARP's advocacy efforts. The debate over how to pay the nation's debt has been dominating news coverage for weeks, and many of these proposals have included making cuts to both Medicare and Social Security as a way to pay down America's debt. These are benefits people like Bob Stevens have paid into through a lifetime of hard work. More than 150,000 South Dakotans count on Social Security benefits to put food on the table and keep the lights on, while more than 130,000 people rely on Medicare to help cover their medical costs. For the Stevens, Medicare helped pay the bills for Karen's breast cancer treatment.
But if we didn't have that, or if we didn't have that type of thing, we both often wonder what we'd have done.
Seniors in South Dakota, just like the Stevens, have a voice in Washington thanks to AARP. Recently, AARP South Dakota State Director Sarah Jennings and Volunteer State President Patrick Gross went to Capitol Hill to urge South Dakota's congressional delegation to stop harmful cuts to Medicare and Social Security as part of a deal to pay the nation's bills. I'm joined now today by Sarah Jennings, State Director for AARP South Dakota, and Pat Gross, our Volunteer State President. Thanks for being here today to talk about these really important issues. Sarah, we've been hearing all about it and the challenges that our lawmakers are facing and how to deal with America's debt. And a lot of those proposals are looking to Medicare and Social Security to try to make up some of that shortfall. Where is AARP's position on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's been scary because there have, in the past weeks and months, there's been a lot of conversation in Washington about the tough situation going on where we do need to find some way to make sure we're paying our nation's bills. But AARP believes we absolutely cannot do it on the backs of seniors. The message that Pat and I took to Washington last week was that the Congress has tough decisions to make ahead, and we hope they make the right choices. And we absolutely cannot have cuts to Social Security or Medicare benefits as part of any political deal to balance our nation's debt.
Okay, so if AARP is opposed to cuts to benefits to both Medicare and Social Security, what's the alternative? How do they get this job done?
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, they have tough decisions ahead, and so, I guess, but that's why we elect them, to make the hard choices. What we really have suggested that Congress and the White House need to look at there's over $1 trillion, and that's $1 trillion with a T, dollars, in tax loopholes and benefits that different corporations and individuals get to take advantage of. And there's also a lot of fraud in many programs. And so we've encouraged them to balance those types of programs against something like Social Security and Medicare, which are earned benefits that we've all paid into and that we rely on. And so to try to decide which is the right place to find savings in this current debate. And we think that they'll be able to find solutions that won't harm beneficiaries. And we're going to keep taking that message to our folks in Washington right till the bitter end.
So Pat, what has AARP been doing to get this message across?
Well, in South Dakota, with our over 100,000 members, we've been doing a series of listening sessions. We've done some electronic teletown halls, we call them, and reached out to over 30,000 people. And more importantly, on a national level, we have driven a lot of their commentary and their concerns into Washington, D.C. not only through emails, but telephone calls and other ways of contacting them. The most important thing that we have found in talking with our members, and especially people age 50 and over, is that they absolutely do not want to lose their earned benefits to pay off the nation's bills.
Sarah, a lot of these proposals that we're hearing about, they say that they won't really affect those who are currently retired or anyone who's maybe 55 and older, but you say that's not necessarily the case.
Well, any of the proposals that talk about putting arbitrary caps onto spending will absolutely affect current beneficiaries, because you can't cap spending and expect to be giving people the same thing is probably the easiest way to look at it. So if you hear people talking about putting an arbitrary cap on it, we really need to be concerned about current beneficiaries in that kind of scenario.
And on the flip side, why might someone 55 and younger be concerned about some of these cuts actually happening?
Well, and that's almost even a bigger thing to be worried or concerned about and to keep an eye on. You know, there's been proposals discussed that, you know, while people try to reassure by saying it won't affect current beneficiaries, you know, you could be a 50-year-old who's not that far away from retirement and who's been planning your entire life to be able to rely on Social Security and Medicare. And then some of these proposals would really kind of pull the rug out from under that person and their family. And I would use as an example, there was one proposal that talked about right now Medicare beneficiaries pay about $5,500 a year for their health care. Under one of the scenarios, that would more than double up to over $12,000 annually. And for South Dakotans who rely a lot on their Social Security and Medicare beneficiaries just to put basics on the table or to pay for basics in their house, that's just something that they can't absorb.
Pat, how would something like that affect you and some of your friends and neighbors across South Dakota?
Well, unfortunately, we know a lot of our members are having to choose this very day between paying for health insurance or putting food on the table. And in South Dakota, our average income from retirement as it relates to Social Security is around $1,000. These are fixed income folks that are continually spending more and more money on these goods and services, and to be perfectly honest, we think that a lot of our older Americans have shared in the pain. And so any cuts to their Social Security would really impact their quality of life. We know that, in fact, with rising health care costs and our shrinking savings and housing situations today and dilemmas like that, there's just no way that we can continue to go ahead and have our benefits reduced.
Sarah, win, lose, or draw, whatever happens, what will AARP's role be going forward?
Well, in this current debate about the debt ceiling, we absolutely are going to continue to oppose any cuts to Social Security or Medicare benefits. And we are going to take that and keep fighting in Washington on that principle. And then beyond this, we want to actually strengthen those programs, and we know that needs to be done. So we're going to enter into a conversation with our members in the 50-plus South Dakota and talk about how we can strengthen those programs going forward.
Great, and this is a really important topic that a lot of people have a lot of interest in. Pat, how can people access that information if they're looking for the next step or how to get involved?
Well, fortunately, we have a number of resources available for them. And they include online information. You would go to www.aarp.org/SD, or you could call on the telephone at 1-866-542-8172, or simply email us at sdaarp@aarp.org.
I'm very attuned to what AARP stands for in terms of protecting the lives and the security of people 50 and older. We work all of our lives, and I think it's extremely important that we take care of people, their financial needs, their health needs, their social needs, and I consider AARP the preeminent organization in this country that is a strong advocate for those people.
One of the things that has always impressed me about AARP is the quality of the research that's done, the publications that are made available, the distribution of that material. It's just first class, and I believe that is at the national level as well as at the state and local levels. That it's just quality organization.
For me, it's been an opportunity to enhance my quality of life by keeping me involved in my community, keeping me involved in some kind of a dialogue in our state about current and contemporary issues. So I try to encourage members and non-members to look at AARP as an organization that is focused not just on its members, not just on its financial services or the other benefits, but on their willingness to involve themselves in contemporary issues.